Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifene. Great Malabite, good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Yes, we'll start the review with This Day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. We'll start with the story just above the lead story. Tinubu signs 2.1 trillion naira 2023 supplementary appropriation. Says executive will ensure judicious use of budgeted resources. Yes, the much talked about supplementary budget with all the flares and, of course, the luxuries attached to that budget. It has been signed into law by the president. The hue and cry about what the money will be spent on, notwithstanding, the president has gone ahead. So those jeeps for the first ladies will be bought, the jeeps for the president's office will be bought, and of course, the controversy about the yacht still hanging somewhere there. Has that money been actually transferred? Now, according to another report somewhere in the newspapers, the Senate has decided to probe the purchase of that yacht, and we hope we'll get the outcome of that probe. Senate has a way of embarking on probe that leads to nowhere, but we hope they will come out with a report that will perhaps pacify Nigerians who are angry that at this time of belt tightening, the government officials are talking of luxury vehicles, both sea-going and bad road going, because the people who should solve road problems, bad roads, are using bad roads as an excuse to buy jeeps. That is where we are in the country. You expect that the Senate should spend a session to tell Nigerians and take action how to solve the federal roads that in very sorry states across the country. But it is an excuse to buy a very good jeep made in Japan so that they can escape the bad road, to quote Senate spokesman. Now, the lead story of this day, 48 hours to Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo Post. Tension heightens. Abdulsalami committee preaches peace. Yes, with 48 hours to the polls and the signing of peace documents by the Abdulsalami Abubakar, former head of state-led National Peace Committee, getting stakeholders to sign this peace accord. Well, there's still tension in the air, and it wasn't surprising that even after the signing, there were allegations and counter-allegations of weapons stockpiling, as we saw in the case of Bayelsa. The governor of Imo State did not even bother to show up. One would have expected that as the chief executive of the state, who is also the chief security officer of the state, he will be more interested in signing an accord that is tending towards peace, but he did not bother to show up. The Daily Trust newspaper, Diri, Silva, trade wars over violence, arms stockpiling after signing peace accord. Opposition running mates, Ododo signed peace accord in Kogi. Accord, not mere formality. Abdulsalami tells candidates signing peace pact, not enough, police is saying. Yes, and it's good to hear that the police is also looking beyond the peace accord these political gladiators have signed, and the police will have to do its job in ensuring that those who are gearing up to make trouble on election day or using thuggery as strategy don't have their way. That is where the police will have to live up to expectation. Now, the Punch newspaper, off-season polls, electronic collation illegal, says INEC. Police warn NLC. INEC says IREV, not for results collation. Labour leaders advise against intimidating voters. Uzodinma orders absent at peace accord. Diri Silva clash. Imo workers, banks, shun strike. Yes, the NLC strike called for Imo State yesterday. Yes, the report is saying bank workers and state government workers, civil servants shunned the strike. But there was a strike yesterday because the airport was grounded, and I remember receiving calls from some government officials that Imo has been thrown into darkness as a result of the strike. Don't forget that the original labor center from where Joe Ajero emerged is the Nigerian Electricity Workers Union. So I wasn't surprised that the electricity in Imo State was off yesterday as a result of that strike. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, peace accord for off-season polls, seriousness, commitment of candidates in doubt. Abdulsalami Abubakar saying that expects them to obey rules, honor accord, ensure free, fair polls, commends INEC for adequate preparation. NSCDC deploys 22,600 personnel in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa. FRSC deploys 4,500, 137,973 party agents to participate in polls. That's INEC giving that figure. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, the New Telegraph newspaper, Kaduna, 121 kidnapped students ransomed for 250 million naira. Khan reveals that the Christian Association of Nigeria says students who escaped from kidnappers then didn't opt to remain with bandits. Kaduna state government set to resettle displaced southern Kaduna communities. United best in standing against terrorism. Undume. Now, the story below the photograph in the front page of the New Telegraph, Budget 2022, tracker uncovers 8.6 billion naira paid to 26 fraudulent contractors, wants EFCC, ICPC to probe, prosecute offenders. We hope ICPC and EFCC will swing into action, because if persons, contractors who don't have any business executing contracts are collecting as much as 8.6 billion naira from the budget 2022, then persons must be brought to book. Otherwise, this trend will just continue. Well, this happened under President Muhammadu Buhari, one of whose major plank of his policies was fighting corruption. Yes, now we know better. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, exchange rates, NECA experts disagree on federal government's target, recommend ways forward. How they intend to do it is still unclear. Yes, government officials promising that the target is to bring the naira back to 500 naira or at most 600 naira. And yesterday I was wondering whether this is a matter of strategy or expression of wish, which you want to call wishful thinking. But if the inflow of foreign exchange is kept high, then perhaps the central bank will be able to meet the needs of those who are looking for forex for importation, and perhaps that will also have the desired impact in the value of the naira. Now, the Nation newspaper, Senate House agreement raises student loan to 10 billion naira. Yacht item dropped as president signs 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget. Senate launches probe. Yes, because we are told that what has already been bought is just the payment that is left. So if that payment, that amount has been moved to the student loans financing, then what happened to the yacht that has already been bought, as we were told earlier? Now, the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria's The Guardian newspaper, inflation effects, many tariffs compound Nigeria's trade. Of course, the reason why a number of importers and people go to the Republic of Benin, because of this multiple tariffs, inflation, and of course, scarcity of FX. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Business Day, bank deposits soar on CBN's loan dumb account. 5 biggest lenders boost deposits to 53 trillion naira. Zenith displaces assets from top spot. The outcome and of bank deposits saw as CBN loans and dumb account. But another story, just in the front page of the Business Day newspaper, which will interest Rufai. Future of $7 trillion electric vehicle market tied to Nigeria orders. AFDB partners to develop $20 billion solar power project. Yes, Africa should be able to tap into the $7 trillion electric vehicle market. And Akinwumi Adesina, the president of the AFDB, is the one even making that projection. So what we do to get into that market is a matter of strategy and deliberate policy in that direction. Now, the Times of London, looking at the foreign newspaper now, braver man brands met bias over Gaza march. Yes, the Metropolitan Police Chief refused government directive to stop the pro-Palestinian march in London. But Braverman, the Home Secretary, Swella Braverman, is accusing the Metropolitan Police of bias over the Gaza march. But police accused of being soft on left-wing protesters. Now, the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian of UK, Starmer fights to control party as shadow ministers threaten to quit. Yes, up to 10 shadow ministers are threatening to quit the Labour Party because Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader, is yet to make comment on the situation in Palestine, in Gaza Strip, the war, and they are urging him to say something, but perhaps he's trying to be on the correct side. But that in itself is undermining his control of the party. At a time, the party should be thinking of winning the elections, the next general elections, when the conservatives, the Tories, seem to be declining, going by polls right now. But the New York Times is reporting something I've always suspected. Hamas' goal for October 7, a permanent state of war. Group's leader say carnage was needed to restore focus on Palestinians. Yes, because before that attack, it's like the issue of Palestinian state has been swept under the carpet, and all kinds of accord. They call it the Abraham Accord from the Donald Trump era between Arab countries and Israel. Opening embassies, establish relationship, no talk about the Palestinian question, which was and remains the issue, the problem in the Middle East. Now, Hamas coming out, the leader coming out to say they carried out that attack on October 7 so that the Palestinian question can be brought back to the front burner and dealt with. Ruben and Rufai, over to you.
First, you mentioned Sir Keir Starmer having issues with members of his party. Well, the major issue here is that he has been asked to at least call for a ceasefire in Gaza, and he has refused to do so. So for that reason, other members of his party, some of them, particularly the shadow ministers, are angry. And in a sense, the crisis in Gaza has polarized, the political leadership in the UK.
And elsewhere in Europe.
The Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, had to, summon the Metropolitan Police Commissioner to tell him that, look, if there is problem, if there's any outbreak of violence on Saturday during the Armistice Day, Remembrance Day, that is the police commissioner that will be held responsible. But the police commissioner himself has been very, firm in saying that the Metropolitan Police will do their job. and that, the Prime Minister should not worry. Now, Braverman, Suella Braverman, then accused the police chief of
being soft on
left-wing protesters. That if it were right-wing demonstrators, the police would have come out, with force. So, well, in any case, that's what you have there. As I said yesterday, you find the Metropolitan Police defending the right of pro-Palestinians to protest, which is a thing that we don't always find here, and standing up even to the Prime Minister himself. Okay, so that's that about that. The second thing I wanted to talk about is a story here, page 2 of The Guardian. MPAN decries rising hardship, urges Tinubu to engage media stakeholders. Oftentimes we don't talk about ourselves enough, but I think this is an important story. The government of the day should engage media owners robustly, because as the story pointed out, we also have the FX issues. Many of the inputs within the media space, whether it's broadcast or it is print, they are imported, and the cost has gone up. Cost of newsprint alone is enough to frustrate any media owner. So if there are ways in which, the government of the day can assist the promotion of knowledge and literacy, because that's what, the media does in part, to promote literacy, to promote, knowledge, to set agenda, to promote ideas within the public space, and then more importantly, to hold government accountable. But government itself must be seen to be encouraging the value of the media and also encouraging the freedom of the press, of the media, okay? So those are the demands, and I think we cannot overstate that. We do not expect that under the present administration, anything will be done to discourage the free flow of information and ideas.
I mean, we do not expect that, but the truth has to be told. In this space, it's gradually, thinning because of the economic situation. Even advertising revenue has dropped tremendously. And we shouldn't forget that the media is tied to business. If business is doing good and climate is booming, media too booms. But if it's not doing good, and that's why at a point in time like this, all hands must be on deck to be able to collectively save the media. But the story that really catches my fancy is this tracker uncovers 8.6 billion paid to 26 fraudulent contractors. So what is going to be the end of this probe?
That's New Telegraph.
New Telegraph. So what's going to be the end of this probe? How are we going to look into it? Hope it's not going to be another NDDC debacle that we keep saying, forensic report, and it ended at the place of off your mic. So we need to introspect truly as a country. Do we want cases of corruption to continue, or we want to nip it in the bud? If we want to nip it in the bud, I think these monies that have been paid to the contractors should be collected back one way or the other, and they should be able to look for a way to stop it.
Those who received and those who paid.
Those who received, those who paid, everybody that knows about it.
Those who collected percentages,
Percentages
10%
before anything kicked off. Also, there's another story here on the front page, that is talking about inflation and FX. Many tariffs compound Nigeria's trade woes. We keep talking about inter-African trade, but we can see the problem inflation is causing. We can see the problem FX is causing. If we were a productive country, the current rate of our forex, we should be able to gain marginally if we're highly exporting, because our produce will have been cheaper to the international market and be able to gain more forex in return. But we have very high forex rates. It's almost not possible to even get forex in the first place. Liquidity has dropped greatly in the market, vis-a-vis inflation. Then trade is depressed. So these are the things we need to talk to ourselves about the economy, because we keep saying growing the economy, growing the economy, growing the economy. We look at the problems that are bedeviling our economy as we speak. And it's all of this that comes back to bite all of us. The other day, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria were complaining. Almost everybody complains in this economy as we speak. So these are the things the government should do something about. And 6 months, I think it's time for us to start seeing action. Because before you know it, December will come. Before you know it, we'll have media again. And I keep saying, Nigerians should start demanding accountability and results from this government, because in the space of 2 years' time, at the end of the second year of this government, preparing for elections will have started. And that's also going to ground governance. So we need to start asking
So time
questions.
is of the essence.
Time is of the essence. And you see, there are some things we have not done now, Mr. Ifeni. We all complained that there were many lacunas in the electoral law. Today, have we pointed it out? Have the lawmakers pushed those the sections of the electoral law that we need to reform? Have they pushed it forward?
Rufai, when they get their jeep, they will do all the job.
Because time is going.
They will do all the job, don't
We
worry.
keep saying, oh, time is going. Time is fast spent. Time is already going. Before you know it, we'll go back to the next electoral cycle and all of the problems will not be solved. Also, have we tried as much as possible to fix the insecurity problem? Because we can't have a society where some people will just sit down and say, we dey beat. And we just expect things to happen like that. We need to have collective laws to be able to run the country. These are the things we keep advocating for.
Anyway, thank you very much, Emmanuel Ifeni. Thank you very much indeed.